Welcome to MMA Odds Breakers. I'm Miguel Iturrate, veteran matchmaker, and I'm joined by Nick Kalikas, the most respected odds maker in the MMA business. Later on, we'll be joined by journalist John Luther on the phone for your first look at UFC 130.
We're going to start off today's show by discussing last week's Strikeforce event, Fedor versus Silva. Fedor Emelianenko came into the event as a 4-1 favorite, closing as high as 5-1 at some books. Antonio Silva comes through as the underdog and shocks the world and gets the win. Give me your thoughts on that fight, Miguel.
I, in particular, was not surprised. I thought Silva had a real chance. He's massive, much bigger than Fedor. Fedor's coming off a loss. You got to question his motivation and are his skills, his physical skills, deteriorating as he ages into his mid-30s. So he gave Silva a real shot going in. I was surprised that the public went so hot for Fedor.
Well, I wasn't surprised that Silva would try to take the fight to the ground, but I was surprised that he was able to finish it in kind of a brutal fashion. I mean, the second round, Fedor did take a beating. He couldn't continue. They stopped it. The doctors stopped it after round 2. So that was my surprise. I figured Silva's best chance was to possibly win a decision, but instead he gets a TKO stoppage, and we figured if there was going to be a TKO, it'd probably come from Fedor.
Well, I've made matches for both of those fighters, and I knew that you had to give Silva a legitimate chance. He's coming down from over 300 pounds into the 265-pound weight class, but he's just massive, and he's going to walk into these fights 280, 290, still the biggest guy easily in this tournament. I think you have to name him one of the top 3 favorite to win at this point.
Yeah, I can't argue with you there. He's going to possess a lot of matchup problems for the rest of the tournament field for sure. The next fight was Kharitonov versus Andrei Arlovski. Now, 2 heavy hitters that are well known for their knockout power. And again, the odds opened at the sports books around a pick'em. Kharitonov was a slight favorite after the odds closed. Kharitonov gets the TKO win. What's up with Arlovski?
Well, Arlovski is a guy that everybody already questioned his chin coming in, and you know, it affected him again in this fight. The bottom line is I haven't seen his skill package change. He comes in the slug. He hasn't changed what he tries to do in a fight, and the book is in on how to get him out of a fight, and that's hit him in the chin, and that's exactly what Kharitonov did.
Now, Kharitonov, in a lot of ways, is similar to Arlovski. I mean, he's got a questionable chin at times as well. He hasn't been as active. Is he a threat to possibly win this tournament as well?
I think he's a good athlete. I think he hits very hard. I think you have to give him a puncher's chance, but I don't think he's one of the top names left in the tournament. Let's get into the remaining fights of that Strikeforce tournament.
Yeah, we got some exciting fights left, and we could see a couple upsets here. You got, in April, Josh Barnett taking on a fierce striker in Brett Rogers. That's going to be an interesting battle. Barnett's the more well-rounded of the two, but you can't count Brett Rogers out. Barnett, in the sports books, is about a 3-1 favorite. Give me your quick thoughts on that.
Well, Barnett's coming off some inactivity, coming off suspensions, coming off questions about his career direction. However, I think he presents the most skilled fighter in the tournament. Trained by Matt Hume many years ago, one of the most respected trainers in the business, now training with Eric Paulson. I think Barnett brings the complete package and is my particular favorite to win the tournament.
Okay, and then the other remaining heavyweight first-round battle is a matchup between Strikeforce Overeem, which is the fans' favorite right now, taking on the man who previously beat Fedor Emelianenko, Werdum. Give me your thoughts on that battle.
It's a very interesting fight. Overeem is coming in as the favorite, better athlete than Werdum. Werdum does have a way to win the fight, however. If Werdum does get it to the ground, he is very highly skilled, probably the best submission person, and left in the tournament, definitely the best person to fight off his back. Overeem's going to have to keep it standing up. He's aggressive, he's big, he's strong, he's a knockout striker with knees, kicks, and punches, but he can't go to the ground.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Overeem, actually, as you mentioned, is the favorite. He's about 3-1 as well at the books. You get some pretty decent value on the other side of Fabricio Werdum. If the fight does hit the floor, he's got a legit shot. He's a great fighter. He's my dark horse to win the whole tournament.
The Strikeforce tournament continues in April. Let's have Nick run us down the odds on the guys that are left.
Well, Fedor Emelianenko being taken out of the field, it's definitely shaking up the tournament. Here's what we got left. We have Strikeforce Overeem as the new favorite. He's at plus 110 odds. You have Josh Barnett coming in at number 2, closer to 2-1 odds. You have Antonio Silva, Bigfoot, coming in the third spot at plus 300 odds. And then rounding out the field, you have Sergei Kharitonov around 1,000, plus 900 to 1,000. You also have Brett Rogers at plus 1,400 value. And then Del Rosario and some of the other guys that are alternates in the field are a little bit heavier. You'll get 4,000 or 5,000 odds on those guys. Now, in my opinion, it's wide open. Anything can happen in this tournament left. Give me your pick on the winner.
Well, like I said before, My favorite is Josh Barnett. I can see why people might vote Alistair or bet Alistair. He's hot. He's a good athlete. He's got knockout power with his legs, knees, and hands. But I think Barnett's the total package. I think he's the most complete fighter left in the tournament. And hopefully, coming off a suspension, he's realizing that he's been on suspension for a couple of years. In the long run, hopefully, he's feeling like this is his time and he's motivated.
Dark horse is actually Fabricio Werdum. I think if he gets past Alistair Overeem in their opening round bout, he's got a good shot to win the tournament. Now, again, if he gets past Alistair Overeem, that's going to be a hard task. Overeem's a beast. He's a defending K1 champion, and he's really on a roll right now, so that's going to be a big task at hand. But again, I think Werdum he's my dark horse to win the tournament, and you can't count out Antonio Silva either.
I would call Antonio Silva the dark horse. He's massive, much bigger than everyone else in. He's hungry. I think, his background of being from Brazil, from a poor background and things like that, brings you a hungry fighter, and I don't think he's lost that spark.
So for all the latest updated odds, make sure you check out the tournament field left at Strikeforce at betdsi.com.